Hey everybody, just finishing getting set up here. Okay, looks like you can see everything there. Just double check a few things here. Okay, let's make sure it's actually live. Alrighty. Well, I got one like, but it says nobody's watching yet, but that'll be fine. Alright, so just double checking the directions. Okay. Bottom, lower to lower, upper to upper. Okay. Just so you know real quick, that's the moves here. We're doing 1, 2, 3, and 4. Sorry, trying not to sneeze here. I'm gonna have this set over here so I don't forget or I have something to look to. Alrighty. Hey, people are on. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so I looked at an old video I did for this braid pattern. Let's see. Actually, I'm gonna quickly unrotate this a little bit so it's a little more. There we go. Okay, so it is under, over, under, over, under, over, and under 3, over the last 4, and leave the bottom one alone. That one gets passed through to the bottom on the other side. And next move is under, over, under, over, under, over 4, under the last 3, and the top one here goes over the top one over here. And hey, Gwendolyn, nice to see you on. Thank you for coming by. All right, so on the left side, I do 4 of the under-overs. And then under 3 and over the last 4. Okay, so under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under 3, over the last 4 on the top, and bottom one is left alone. So these are a little short. Let me unroll them a bit more. And bottom one passes through to the bottom on the other side. Go. It's a little short. After a couple times through the pattern, these will be about the right length and should go better. Okay. So apparently, if I do this again, I need to start over rather than doing it under because it looks like I'm changing directions. Shouldn't be too bad for the way it starts out. Okay, so under, over, under, over, under, over, under, and then over 4, and under the last 3 on the bottom. pass from the upper on the left to the upper on the right. And that's the entire pattern. You just keep doing that over and over until we're done. Okay, so 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. So, oops. Helps if I look at the right move. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and then under 4, I believe. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4. Over the last 3 on the top. Leave the last one on the bottom. And pass bottom to bottom. And under, over, under, over, under, over 4. Yep, that's right. And under the last 3 on the bottom. And the top one passes through the top on the other side. And 1, 2, 3, 4, under 4, over 3, and pass bottom to bottom. 1, 2, 3, over 4, yeah. Over 4, under the last 3 on the bottom, and top passes through to top. It'll take me like maybe 3 or 4 times through the pattern, and then I should be able to remember without looking. All right, so 1, 2, 3, under 4, over 3, there we go. And under, over, under, over, under, over 4, under the last 3, pass that on through. There we go. And 1, 2, 3, 4, under 4, over 3, leave the last one on the bottom, which gets passed through the bottom on the other side. Hey, Bane, nice to see you on. Welcome, welcome. Just started in. And 1, 2, 3, and 4, and under 3. This pattern is just the same 4 moves over and over. It gets its pattern mainly from the way the colors are laid out. So 1, 2, 3, under 4, over 3, and pass that one on through. Let's unroll this a little bit more. There we go. And 1, 2, 3, and over 4, under the last 3 on the bottom. There we go. And the reason I do one more set of under overs on this side is because I start out with 13 on the top, 13 on the bottom, 13 on the top, 13 on the bottom. So I move the 2 over here. Actually, I have 14 on each here, and then they go back over to here. So I have to do 1 extra under over to get it to even up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, under 4, over 3. And 1, 2, 3, under the 4th one, and then over 4 on the top, and under 3 on the bottom, top one passes through to the top on the other side. All right, we're starting to develop the proper pattern. Okay, other than a little bit of a kind of glitchy start, it doesn't look too bad. It's better than the previous methods I've done. So I am going to, this looks like a good attack angle of braiding, so I'm going to do a coma slide and keep on going. Okay, under, over, under, over, under, over, under 4, over the last 3 on the top, leave the 1 on the bottom. Angles are a little bit different here. I might actually go further back before doing that in the... And under, over, under, over, under, over 4, under the last 3. There we go. I'm probably going to stop at 8:30 tonight because I am working tomorrow for like a 4-hour shift, and then I got to get ready for the trip to Butler, PA for the weekend. And I may run a small stream tomorrow night, but it's probably not going to happen. And 1, 2, 3, under the 4th, over 4 on the top, under 3 on the bottom. Yeah, this is a little too far forward. I suppose I could move this up a little bit, see if it's a little better that way. Yeah, I just need to move it forward. Okay. All right, so everything's even. And under, over, under, over. So when I'm doing under, I'm going under the bottom, the first one on the bottom, and I'm going over the top of the first one on the top. And I do that 3 times. And once I've done that, then I go under, all the way under the 4 on next 4 on the bottom rail. And then I go over the top, or the last 3 on the top rail, and leave the bottom, last one on the bottom alone, because that's the one that passes through to here. And I do the same thing again, under, over 2, under 3, but instead of just 1 here, I go 4 for the second move, and then under the last 3 on the bottom, and take the top, pass that through, top on the other side. And on the left, I do 1 more of the under, over. So under the first on the bottom, over the first on the top, under the second on the bottom, over the second on the top, under the third on the bottom, over the third on the top, under the fourth on the bottom, over the fourth on the top. Then I go under the next 4 on the bottom, go into the middle, and go over the last 3 on the top. Leave the last one on the bottom alone when I open the shed. And that one gets passed through the open shed to the right-hand side. And again, so under 1, over 1, under the 2, over the 2, under the 3, over the 3, under the 4, but instead of just over the 4, I go over 4, 5, 6, and 7, then under the last 3 on the bottom. The top one, pass through the middle of the shed, over the top on the right-hand side. I'll probably make a short little video where I update this real quick, so I have it for like the intro video that Rumble requires. So we're starting to see a little bit of the tortoiseshell pattern showing up. So again, this is what we're going through here, and like this is where we are right now. We're about right here on, right here on the point of braiding. And 1, 2, 3, under 4, over 3, leave 1, pass it through, and 1, 2, and the third one, over 4, under 3. That making sense to everybody? Any questions or anything like that on the pattern? Like I said, this is a fairly simple one, but it's kind of a nice palette cleanser for me. I don't have to have a lot of concentration. It braids very quickly for me. And just, it's kind of a nice fun braid to do. And I like the finished pattern. Tangle. And since I don't have to let them get so long, once I get the them evened out, where I'm not having to unroll them so much at a time, I'll actually get some pretty decent speed on braiding this. My guess is it's going to be somewhere between like 10 and 15 hours to finish, or not long at all as far as these braids go. All right, looks like, oops, I am sorry. Didn't mean to whack the camera. You nice people don't deserve that. All right, so 1, 2, 3, under 4, over 3. But as you can tell, counting is kind of important with this braid. Actually, with most of the braids. But you don't necessarily have to count the numbers once you get used to the pattern. Oops, that one keeps wanting to slide in between the coma and drop down. 2, 3, 4, 4, and 3. If I did nothing but the braid for the day, then yeah, I could do it that way. But it's a bit more than I'm willing to put in for a single day. But I already got about ½ an inch, and we're only about 19 minutes in, and that was with me picking it up. Yeah, it's a really nice pattern. I really enjoy it. And like I said, it would only take a few renditions for me to get to where I'm comfortable just braiding it. Just have to be careful to make sure I keep a nice even beat on it so that I don't distort the pattern. It's not horrible when it happens on this one, but it's still something I want to avoid if I can. It looks better when the right and left side have a mirror symmetry and it's not off just a little bit. But yeah, I'm getting to the point where I'm not even really mentally counting. I'm kind of letting my fingers do it. Letting the kinesthetic memory reestablish itself, because like I said, I've done this braid a fair number of times. I think probably about 4 or 5. Though I just screwed that one up a little bit. And lost track of where it was. So 4. Okay, so I'm starting fresh on this side. Okay. 2, 3. Yeah. And 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 3. I like the colors you guys picked out. Assuming you voted in the color selection poll. And 2, 3, 4, 3. But yeah, I try and unroll these kind of a staggered height for the tama so they don't bump into each other as much. Oh yeah, I have tried doing grinds kind of like for knife. I haven't actually ground a knife, but I have done sharpening and things like that for machine tools. So yeah. And when I do knife sharpening on my Russian sharpening system, it's definitely something I have to pay attention to, so it winds up turning out all right. I mean, you can do asymmetrical grinds for sharpness, but usually for stuff like chisels, but for most knives, you want even bevels on both sides. Let's see. These headphones keep clipping off, and since I don't actually have anybody going to be coming on, I don't really need them. So 3 and 4, under 4, over 3. Actually, the video that I did for helping somebody to do this braid from about 10 months ago was only about 2 minutes and 2 seconds long. I could probably just clip a couple of seconds off that and use that for my Rumble intro video. That would be nice. Because I'm lazy. Though I noticed my views have suddenly dropped off on total raw numbers, even though you wonderful people have been keeping my watch hours growing steadily, which I really do appreciate. I figure I need to start uploading some more shorts, which means I need to do more 3D printing. And do the videos for that, but I haven't really been out 3D printing lately. Which is definitely something I should be doing more of. I should also be working on the router so I can get some Takadais made. Because I'm sure some of the people who watch this would like to be able to get a Takadai and do their own braiding on it. And it would be nice if I had one to sell them. Yeah, I looked at the carving of the Mary that Rob did on that urn box, and I see it was a different one than the one I was working with him on. So looks like he didn't actually use the one that I tried to help out with, but that's fine. I'm glad he was able to get one because the one he did have looked really nice. Of course, part of the secret with that is we were working with a much larger version, getting the details worked out, and then you shrink it down. So all the little mistakes just aren't there anymore. They're smoothed over. 2, 3, 4, and 3. And 1, 2, 3, 4, and 3. Sorry if I'm a little quiet. I'll work on that. I'm still making sure I'm not making mistakes, because I don't want to have to back braid on this if I don't need to. But I also don't want to be rude and ignore everybody. Whoops. Let me catch up on the chat real quick after I do this move. Yep, I could do that, except the shortest one I got is about 3.5 minutes, and they're limited to 2 minutes for the intro video. Alrighty. And 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 3. Yeah, for some reason I haven't really been getting a lot of sleep this week. The election probably screwed up my sleeping schedule. I need to start getting more because I'm getting really sleepy at the end of the day. Probably also need to up my dosage a bit, but I want to give it like a couple of months at the dosage he originally prescribed, even though the doctor did talk about potentially increasing it. I want to make sure that I get at least a reasonable amount of sleep, so I got an accurate idea of how it affects me. No worries about that. I appreciate you folks here, and I understand the importance of counting, as we've demonstrated when I make mistakes on this, but not this particular one so far. I think I've avoided making any as of yet. That's looking lovely. I think I need to do what I was doing before and give it a little more of a gap there, so the commas don't separate. I mean, the comas don't separate. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, and 3. Okay. Just noticing that StreamYard and YouTube's chat aren't necessarily in the exact same sequence. Probably has something to do with where they're being sent and the local timestamps and which way the different services record that. Okay. Apparently I scraped the back of one of my fingers because this is a little rough on my pinky finger. Problem with working with plastic shop is that sometimes the plastics are a bit sharp. Though with my thumb, I accidentally cut it on one of the flutes of an end mill because I was pulling some wrapped around chips off of it, and as I was sliding it down, my thumb had a little too much pressure on it. It's only paper cut deep, so no major harm, just annoyance. One thing as a kid I really hate was getting like scratches and paper cuts of any kind. They felt like major wounds to me as I get older. I don't know if my pain tolerance is just improved or if it's just part of getting older. But I still find them annoying. It's a minor annoyance, not a major annoyance. Also, I wouldn't be surprised if the fact that I was getting regular migraines has kind of shifted my pain tolerance thresholds. Okay. All right. Yeah, let's do a coma slide and roll up a bit on the take-up reel. All right. There's a lot fewer tom on here, so it's much easier to do the roll-up. 2 and 3. 3, under 4, over 3. And 1, 2, 3 over 4, and under 3. There's a web comic I like to read called Girl Genius, spelled Grrl. Not Girl Genius, Girl Power. I also like Girl Genius, which is by Phil Foglio and Kaja Foglio. But the one I was thinking of was Girl Power, again spelled Grrl, as opposed to GIRL for Girl Genius, which covers the adventures of one Sydney Scoville, who is a comic shop part owner, living in a world where superheroes have been around for a while, but just kind of really have only come out to the public in the last few years. Well, she wasn't born a superhero. Somewhere along the way, she managed to acquire a set of 7 orbs about the size of billiard balls that kind of float around her head and give her superpowers. And while they're pretty strong, she's not like the strongest superhero out there. She's got a wide variety of skills, which is unusual. But the thing is every so often, when she does a lot of work with them, she gets a skill tree that shows up out of nowhere and a point or two to spend on it. And she's learning what abilities she has as they unlock. And it's a nice story. I like it. It's a little slow developing because it only updates twice a week, but it's a full page update. But I've been reading it probably since like page 50. Okay, Gwen, stay safe. We'll see you when you get back on. Congrats on the count on the chains, if you were around to hear that. 2, 3. And okay, somewhere along the way here, I lost count. Okay, so all right, so I just did the underside. No, I did the okay. I didn't lose count. I just misread how the layout was. Being a symmetrical design, it makes it a little bit easier to do that. Yep, I can understand that. She's kind of figuring out at this point what the kind of how the skill tree works, but she has no idea really what unlocks with what selections she makes. She did find out what the symbols look like for when she's buying a passive skill, so she's getting there. All right, 1, 2, 3, under 4, over 3. Yep. Also, amusingly enough, she's named Sydney Scoville, but she also likes hot sauce, though it's not because of her name. It's kind of a ironic, I don't know if ironic, but is the proper term. But yeah, she likes really hot sauces. And there's some rather cute comics covering that. Okay. All right. So let's try that again. I think I went through one instead of over one of them. 3, 4, under 4, over 3. That feels better. The website is girlpowercomic.com, or comics. I think it's singular comic. That's GRL powercomic.com. All right, so 1, 2, 3, under 4, over 3. There we go. And 1, 2, 3, over 4, under 3. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 3. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, and 3. Welcome back, Gwendolyn. I don't know if you heard it before you had to run out, but I did say congrats on getting the first row done excellently. I was talking about a comic I like called Girl Power Comic, GRRL. It's the adventures of a kind of accidental superhero in a world where superheroes have been around for a while, but were just recently kind of introduced to the general public. So while they're out there, a lot of people don't think they're real. And Sydney is a comic book store part owner and genre savvy, which winds up being useful a lot more than you would expect. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, and 3. All right, we're about 40 minutes in. Got 5 people watching concurrently, so we're doing pretty good. Braids coming along nicely. I'm hitting the camera again. I got to watch out for that. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 3. And 1, 2, 3, 4, and 3. And 1, 2, 3, 4 over and unders, under 4, over 3. And 1, 2, 3, under 4, over 4, under 3. And 1, 2, 3, under 4, over 3. And 1, 2, under 3, over 4, under 3. And 1, 2, 3, 4, under 4, over 3. And 1, 2, 3, under 4, over 4, under 3. we go. Alrighty, let's roll that up just a little bit. All right, so let me move this back just a little bit so you can see that better at the top of the screen. Looks like it's coming along just nicely. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 3. Since the thread bundles are so thick, it's a little unwieldy to do it, but it will braid up very quickly. 1, 2, under 3, over 4, under 3. There we go. And 1, 2, 3, and 4, 4, and 3. Go ahead and unroll some of these a little bit more so they're not quite so bunched up. Okay. All right. So 1, 2, 3, under 4, over 4, under 3. Sorry if I'm talking too quietly and facing far enough away from the microphone if it's hard to hear. Not that I've really said anything other than just counting for the last couple minutes. Okay. We'll slide forward on a coma slide. Okay. And 1, 2, 3, under 4, over 3. And 1, 2, under 3, over 4, under 3. And 1, 2, 3, 4, under 4, over 3. I will have to say, after handling silk for a couple of months, it is much nicer on the hands than the cotton floss is, or at least it is for me. Guess I'm getting spoiled. And alrighty, okay, so I did both of them. All right, time to switch back. 1, 2, and 3, under 4, over 3. And 1, 2, under 3, over 4, under 3. But yeah, this is another braid where all of the top rails only exchange with the top rail and bottom only with the bottom, and I do kind of loop around under the last one on the first half of the pattern. Excuse me, so that it locks the edges together. It's also more top and bottom exchanging as it goes through. So it really isn't at risk to be a tube like with pickup braids. And 1, 2, 3, and 4, 4, and 3. But at least I'll have enough of the braid done so I can do a nice picture for the thumbnail of it. It's more yellow than I was expecting it to be. And 1, 2, 3, under 4, over 3. And we have a cat visitor. And 1, 2, over 4, under 3. Hopefully he won't try and climb me today. I do not need more puncture holes today. And 1, 2, 3, 4, under 4, over 3. And we will pet the nice cat. So he knows I'm not ignoring him to be a jerk. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, and 3. Thanks, Bing. And yeah, interesting observation. Gwen, I am sorry to hear that. Hopefully that won't be necessary, but hey, if it is, it is. There we go. And 1, 2, under 3, over 4, under 3. And 1, 2, 3, 4, under 4, over 3. I'm going to have to start having some seltzer water up here when I'm doing it. My throat's starting to get dry when I'm talking. Humidity's been down the last couple of days. That's probably aggravating it a bit. Okay. And 1, 2, 3, under 4, over 3. After this one, I'll flip the braid over so you folks can see what the other side looks like. Because it is different. And 1, 2, 3, 4, under 4, over 3. I will say that the time starts passing by faster than it did when I first started streaming. I figure that's a sign of just getting more comfortable being a streamer. And there we go. Okay, so this is the back side. And that's back to the front side. And 1, 2, 3, under 4, over 3. And 1, 2, under 3, over 4, under 3. Yeah, eventually I'll probably be streaming regularly to where I can get past the 2-hour mark and get spicy and not have to worry about community guidelines. But today will not be that day. And I admit, if my mother is likely to 2, 3, and 4. Watch some of this. Though I don't think she's going to stay this far along. She'd probably watch only like the first 5 or 10 minutes. She would not approve of my language if I got spicy. The joys and downside of growing up with a super, super nice mother. Disappointing her is kind of like kicking puppies, and it's just not something you want to do. And she's not one of the people who like weaponizes niceness for the ability to weaponize it. She's just that type of person. She's nice, and you don't want to disappoint her. If she thought you were thinking she was weaponizing her niceness, she would be absolutely mortified and feel horrible about it. But probably wouldn't be able to change what she was doing because that's just the type of mother she was. And 1, 2, 3, 4 on the top and 3 on the bottom. There we go. Okay. And 1, 2, 3 under 4 over 3. And 1, 2 under third over 4 under 3. And 1, 2, 3, 4 under 4 over 3. Yeah, she doesn't really weaponize niceness. She's just a nice person, but if somebody did weaponize niceness, they would probably be just as effective as she is when she's not trying to be. That's a little hard to explain. I'm sorry. I'm also, like I said, getting a little tired. Actually, I'm sleepy. The Pro Vigil has definitely worn off for the day. All right, so apparently I've missed one somewhere along here. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, and 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alrighty. So I think what I did there is I did the first one twice. So let's see if that works. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 3. All right, so white, white, purple, white. Okay, so that's right. And there we just had, let's see, one of these jumped over. Okay, so that looks right from there. Okay, all right, I think that was the mistake. Let's try this again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 3. Oh, yep, understood. If they're actually trying to weaponize it, they're not nice people in the first place. 1, 2, 3 over 4 under 3. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, and 3. And I had another one pop over there. Let's fix that one. And 1, 2, 3 under 4 over 4 under 3. Well, since I made a mistake and it's essentially an hour in, I will go ahead and stop the stream now. Thanks everybody for coming by. I appreciate it. Anybody have any questions before we go or anything that they want to talk about? Okay. All right, let's do a quick coma slide. And okay, pattern still looks good. There we go. There's a little off there. The tensioning, not the pattern itself. There we go. Nice even width, good filling on the tension. I do not see any obvious mistakes. Pull it back so you guys can see better. That's how much we've gotten done. Let's take a quick measurement for that. And I'm just throwing stuff around. Okay, so this end here. So we start about here. So yeah, we did about 4 inches, not bad. It's about an inch every 15 minutes. And thanks again to everybody who stopped by. Like I said, probably not have another stream until I get back. I might try a Monday night stream, but it's most likely going to be a Tuesday. Might do a Sunday evening stream if I get home really early on Sunday. We'll just have to see how it goes. Thanks again, everybody who stops by. Happy braiding and stay safe.